Hello, participants. I welcome you to this friendly introduction to the use of R for data analysis. Whenever we want to use R for data analysis, there are certain basic things that we need to understand. The first thing is, how do I communicate with R? How do I communicate with R? This presentation assumes that you have installed R and RStudio, and you have launched your RStudio, just like I've done. So let's start by considering the way to communicate with R. A good starting point is to have a folder somewhere on your computer where you have your stores. And that is what we normally describe as the working directory. And we should try as much as possible to set that working directory in your R, and that will be our starting points. So if I want to set the working directory that I want to use, I have a session, set my working directory. Then I choose the directory. Choose directory. On my desktop, I have a folder R training, and that is what I want to use as my directory. R training, R training. Okay, this is the folder here. So I click on it, then you open it. When you open it, on the console here, you will have setwd, and you will have the file path. Now that you have set your working directory, there are two ways to communicate with R. One is one line at a time, one line at a time. And if you want to use one line at a time, which is actually the basic for beginners, you come to this console and you type there and you press enter. Take, for instance, let's type 1 plus 1. If you press enter, it will give us 2. If you type 3 raised to power 4, raised to power, that will shift 6. And we need to know where to get all these keys on our laptop. To power of 4, press enter, that will give you 81. Let's say you have your A equals to 4. You press enter, and you have your B equals to 6. You press enter, and you have your A multiplied by B. And you press enter. That will give you 24. Let's say you have 9 bar, which is the name of an object, for instance, that is my variable, equals hello world, and you press enter, and really want to know what that my val is, that is the my val, you press enter, is going to give you one thing. That whenever you are using one line at a time, when you type that command, you immediately get a response when you press enter. Another way to communicate with R is what is called multiple line command. Multiple line command. You know, when you have many codes to write, at the same time or at a particular point in time, it makes sense for you to apply the multiple line command. And here we have the editor window where you can type that one. Take, for instance, I type 1 + 1 here. If you press enter, it will just take you to 2. It will not give you any answer. Likewise, if you type 3⁴ here, press enter, it's going to take you to line 4. It's not going to give you any answer. Lest I forget, when you want to introduce what you are doing with a comment, you use hash, just like you use star when you are using starter. So here I type 1 + 1, 3⁴, a = 4, b = 6, a multiplied by b, my var equals to hello world, just as we have done when using the one-line command. So let's run everything. If you run it, to run, you have to highlight everything like this. Then you click run here, you click run, you click run. You have seen that you will get all your answer at the same time. That is the beauty of multiple line commands. And that's what we're going to keep using. By way of introduction, another basic thing that you have to know is the type of data that R accepts. So let's call that one R data types. There are quite a lot of types of data that R that can make use of, and the basic one is vector. And we have various types of vectors. So let's start by looking at various types of vectors. The starting point is the logical vector. The logical vector is a situation whereby the object is either false or true. And let's say your v is equal to false. If you like, you can type everything, but it has to be in capital if you want to type everything, or you can just type F as a short way of saying false. And if you have done this and you have check the class here, to check the class, look at this now, you have it as logical. And let's say your build is equal to true, you can type everything to b equals to true, or you just say it's equal to t. So, and if you have done just that one, then also you can check the class. The class also will show you that whenever you are dealing with false and true, it is logical. So that is one type of vector. Another type of vector is numeric vector, is when the object is a numerical value. So let's say you have L equals to 23, and you check the class. This will give you numeric. For instance, so you just type it this way, you can see that it is numeric. You have G equals to 2.98, for instance, that will give you numeric too. These are numerical values. Another type of vector is integer vector. But in that wise, we just put capital L in front just to show you that you are dealing with integer. Take, for instance, I have W equals to 2L, and you check the class that will show you that it is integer. You can see that it is integer. Then in R, we can have what is called a complex vector. For instance, let's say I have C equals to 3 + 2I. The class of this kind of object is complex vector. Then we have character, or what is generally referred to as string. Character or string. So in this wise, let's say you have this equal to set, but don't forget when you are dealing with character, most of the time you have to put it in double inverted comma, open and close. So let's say you have the equal to set, and you check the class of that, and you will see that this is character. So you can get out this equal to. So most of our names, whichever thing we are doing, column names, they are vectors. Then we can create vector of character. Vector of characters. Let's say, for instance, we have sex. In sex, we have two categories, male and female. So if I have sex equals to C, that C is can stand for combination or concatenation. I'm dealing with more than one thing, one object. So I say C equals to male, female, this way. And if you check the class also, it's still going to give you, in this case, it's going to give you character, because you are dealing with characters. When you're dealing with another type of data type, that is vector, another type of data type in R is list. List. So list can be a combination of vector, character, and whatever. Usually list, you start listing by this word list. So then you bring in all the vectors or the characters, all sorts of things that you want to list. So if, for instance, I have this list, C1, 2, 3 sets, and this, if I have this, I now see that, look, this showing me list, separates the numeric vector from the character vector. So if you look at class of this W, for instance, it's going to give you lists. So list is another type. Another one is factor. Previously, I say, okay, sex equals to C. That is, I look at the character sex. I may convert it to factor, for instance. Let's say I say sex underscore 1. I convert it to factor. To convert to factor, I just say factor 6. And if I've done that, for instance, and I ask myself, what is the number of categories of that factor? That is what n levels indicates. So it's going to give me 2. So 2 because we have male and female. So dealing with marital status, let's say that you have something like single, married, divorce, widow, separated, that is 5. In that wise, your n levels will be 5. Another basic thing, which is very, very vital, that you have to know, particularly when you are dealing with data analysis, fundamental thing you need to understand is how to enter your data. And there are various ways. Let's start by looking at direct data entry. You really want to enter your data into our spreadsheet, which is very, very possible. If that is what you want to do, let me call the name of my data SW potato. Let's say I want to create data for sweet potato. I say data.frame, this my data set. Run this and edit. So I say SW potato, so I edit this. So if I edit it, edit. So, and when I edit it, it's going to give me this empty spreadsheet. This is the empty spreadsheet. I hope it's very clear. That's the empty spreadsheet. And the beauty is that now you can type your variables here. Let me just type 2-column variable. Let's say the first column is the serial number. So let me have 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me call that one. Now, by the time, we have val 1 there. So you really want to call it the actual name. So let's say serial number, let me say SM for that. Then you close it here. You can see it has changed the variable name to SM. Let's say this is age, for instance. Let's say I have 23, 34, 43, 44, and let's say 54. And again, you click here, so you change this to age. Super simple. So the moment you are done, you can just keep on entering your data set, but the moment you are done, then close this. So the moment you close it, now if you type your sweet potato, it's going to give you a data set. Wrong. You have seen it. This is the serial number and GH tags I generate. And if you want to write it to Excel, just say write.csv. That's sweet potato. Then swpotato.csv. Let me add one to this because it's possible swpotato.csv exists in my directory. So run this, for instance. Yeah, it has actually stored it in your directory. And I'll get it to your directory. We're 100% sure that you get it there. 100% sure. So this is our directory, for instance. So this is our directory. And there you see swpotato1. So let's open it and see what I'm saying. So this is your SLR page. Very, very clear. Yeah, so all right. So let's close this. Okay, let's return to our app. Another basic thing you need to understand is finding variables of objects. Now we're dealing with certain objects. You name some. A equals to B equals to my value equals to swpotato equals to, and so on and so forth. You see, let's say you'll be working with a large data set, for instance, and you have generated quite a lot of objects and here and there. So you really want to know what are those variables or objects that have generated. The easiest thing to do is just say ls, that is, give me the list of all the objects. Don't put anything, that bracket is going to give you the list of all. So run this. So for instance, these are the list of all the objects I have, A, B, C, D, L, my balance, so on and so forth. And let's say I'm looking for those ones that begin with S, then I will define the patterns. LS pattern equals to S. If I do this, it's going to just limit me to those ones that begin with S. So run this. So I have just 3 of them that started with S. And that takes us to another thing that you quickly need to understand is what is called the functions in R. The functions in R. The functions in R can be divided into 2. We have inbuilt functions and inbuilt packages. And we have user functions and user packages. Inbuilt are those ones that come with an RStudio installation, while the user are those that are contributed by other researchers, and you can easily install them. So let's quickly look at some of the inbuilt functions. Let's look at the mean, for instance. And if you want to look at the mean of just a variable, for instance, you type mean sweet potato. If you put dollar here, it's going to give you the list of the variables. So I pick age. So around. So the mean age is 39.6. The standard deviation is 6, and that will give me 11.67. The variance is VAR, and that will give me 136.3. Minimum is MIN, and that will give me 23. Maximum is MAX, and that will give me 54. Then if I want to add everything, the sum is total, and that will give me what? 198. 198. Another, okay, that should be there. Another inbuilt function is summary. That is, I want the summary of all the variables. So just type summary here. A simple way of just exploring what the data is all about. Summary SW potato run. So you can see the mean first quartile, median, mean third quartile, maximum, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, these are just basic things I feel you should know. The next thing that I will be teaching will actually be how to import your data set and obtain basic descriptive statistics. I hope what we have learned thus far is very straightforward, easy to understand. There are basic things that you just need to familiarize yourself with. And like I used to say, the moment you familiarize yourself with all these basic things, by the time you begin to use R, but you don't want to shift to another software. So have a blessed week. All right. Thank you for listening.